Why you don't need friends after 70, and why that's perfectly okay. Have you ever noticed how your priorities quietly shift as you grow older? The things that once seemed essential, like being part of a large social circle, start to lose their hold on you. And here's an unexpected truth. You don't need friends after 70. That may sound shocking at first, but when you take a closer look, it begins to make perfect sense. In this video, we're diving into 6 powerful reasons why friendships may no longer be necessary in your later years, and why letting them go can lead to a happier, freer, and more peaceful life. This isn't about isolation, it's about independence. It's about living life on your terms, without the weight of social expectations. Let's begin. 1. You no longer need to prove yourself to anyone. In your younger years, friendships often revolved around being seen, accepted, and validated. You worked hard to fit in, impress colleagues, maintain appearances, but by the time you're 70, you've already proven who you are. You've lived, you've built a life, and you no longer need others' approval to define your worth. Consider Harold, a former executive in his early 70s. He once had a network of colleagues and acquaintances. But after retirement, those relationships vanished. At first, he tried to keep them alive, until he realized they were built on convenience, not connection. He let them go, turned inward, and discovered something powerful: freedom. No more forced small talk. No more trying to be liked. Just peace. 2. Peace is more valuable than constant socializing. As you age, you begin to crave something more meaningful than chatter and social obligations. You crave peace. In your youth, activity and engagement were signs of success. Now, silence feels like a sanctuary. Take Margaret, 74. Once the life of the party, she gradually found that gatherings drained her rather than energized her. Repetitive conversations, endless complaints, shallow connections, until she said no more. She stopped forcing interactions and embraced quiet walks, books, and time alone. And in that stillness, she found herself again. 3. Fewer friendships equals fewer disappointments. One of the hardest truths? Not every friend is truly a friend. With time, we learn that many relationships are one-sided, only alive when we do the reaching out. William, 78, spent decades being the one to check in. Eventually, he stopped. Those who cared stayed. Those who didn't drifted away. And instead of feeling hurt, he felt relief. Fewer friendships meant fewer letdowns, and more space for the relationships that actually mattered. 4. Your time becomes too precious to waste. Time, once abundant, now feels sacred. Every hour matters. Why spend it on friendships that drain rather than enrich you? Richard, now in his 80s, used to attend every gathering, return every call, but over time, socializing became a chore. He began saying no, and instead filled his days with things he loved: reading, learning, walking. The result? A life that finally felt like his own. 5. True companionship comes from within. We grow up believing that happiness comes from others. But by 70, you've learned the most powerful truth: you are enough. The relationship you build with yourself is the most lasting and meaningful one of all. Eleanor, 76, once feared solitude, but when she stopped chasing social approval, she discovered the joy of her own company. Cafes with books, walks with her thoughts, quiet evenings of reflection. These became her new definition of connection. And she was happier than she'd ever been. 6. Letting go creates space for what truly matters. Letting go isn't about giving up, it's about making room. When you release relationships that no longer serve you, you open the door to a life of clarity, purpose, and joy. James, in his late 70s, was always on calls, meetings, get-togethers, but the joy had faded. So he stepped back, and in doing so, he found something unexpected: not emptiness, but fulfillment. He finally had time to breathe, reflect, and do what he truly loved. Final thoughts. Choosing to let go of friendships in your later years isn't about loneliness, it's about freedom. It's about reclaiming your time, your peace, your sense of self. It's about realizing that your worth has never depended on how many people surround you, but on how aligned you are with who you really are. So, what stood out to you the most? Which of these reasons resonated with your life? Perhaps you've already started letting go, or maybe today is the day you give yourself permission to. We'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below with one insight that struck a chord and how you plan to apply it. And if this message inspired you, Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Your journey isn't over, it's just getting richer, simpler, and more you.